I've always felt different. I've always seen things, but when I tried to express them as a child, I was always told to ignore it.
There were people that I didn't know that came to me and said, I have this message that I keep getting that I have to deliver to you.
All of a sudden, out of the shadows, a homeless man just jumped right in front of me. And he said, I'm a soul just like you.
I love it. I wanted to understand the universe and who and what we are and what are we doing here.
Well, we're all part of this amazing soul wave tapping into each other.
This was a major life changer.
You are a light. You have helped me a ton. Thank you.
You've given me the courage to live more from my soul.
Millions of people are awakening. So wake up with Michele Meiche, the place to hear the best-selling authors and experts in the fields of cutting-edge self-help, personal growth, metaphysics, and spirituality. The soul path of awakening. Understand what living awake is.
Oh, yeah. Wake up, folks. Time to wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. If you're new to the podcast, hi, I'm Michele. I'm kidding. I'm making jasmine tea, reishi jasmine tea with frothy almond and coconut milk. So if you hear me tinkering in the background, that's what I'm doing. So, folks, get your tea, coffee, water, beverage of choice, snackies. I have a feeling today is going to be a wild ride. Wild ride. We are gearing up for some wild, interesting energies, and I'm going to definitely be talking about it on this podcast. Yes, and as well as Patreon and my Soul Insights and Tarot on YouTube. So you don't want to miss these downloads and episodes. By the way, I feel the chat is still not working. I'm going to try it again. It just goes round and round and round like a little... Now it's not going round and round. Let's see what happens. Let's see if we can get in the chat. Otherwise, you can listen by phone, 347-539-5122, 347-539-5122, and press 1 on your keypad. Let's see what happens if we reload the page. Let's see what happens. Yeah. So if you can't, I know so many people like being in the chat. Oh, and I love seeing you there because you guys kind of connect in with my sound. How's my sound doing? I love seeing your faces and the conversations in the chat. So I'm hoping I have emailed, maybe anybody else that's on BTR, or if you're a listener, you can email also and say, hey, what's up with Awakenings with Michele Meiche chat? What's going on there? The little circle in the chat just goes round and round. And, of course, I emailed them, just clear the cache, da-da-da-da, clear the browser history. I did all that. It's still not working. So, anywho. So, if you're happen to just somehow surfed onto this podcast and you're like, who the heck is this? I'm Michele. Yes, I'm Michele, the host, pilot, sometimes co-pilot, fellow soul path traveler on the path with you. So that's who I be. Who are you? That is not the question. Who are you is not the question. The question is, where and how do you want to express you? Let's keep it simple, folks. I've been saying this for years. And as we release our identity on an ego personality level and connect more on a soul level, the soul personality, the true aspect of us, the way to keep it simple is just, I'm a spiritual being, I'm spirit in form with a soul, which is your design, your map, your blueprint, it's your seed, all your expression and experience within you, encoded. So just keep it simple. Don't focus on who are you. Don't ask, who am I? Who am I really? Who am I really? That takes you down such a rabbit hole so deep that you'll never come out, because who you are, who you perceive yourself to be over time on Earth changes. People, when you over-identify, I have clients, they get pregnant, I'm a mother now, I'm a father now, I go to the Little League now, or I'm a CEO now, I'm an attorney now, I got to do this, or I'm a counselor, I'm a therapist, I'm a light worker now, and then you start narrowing your choices of what you can do, not do, your behavior, which means your soul expression. And what happens when that over-identification, oh, I'm no longer a mother. Well, I'm a mother, but the kids are, they don't need me anymore. I don't know what to do. And that's because you live through a narrow perception of yourself. And what's coming in this new paradigm, the new emerging consciousness that is very expanded, deems that we do not limit, that we do not over-identify. This is why you're seeing, right now on the planet, you're seeing so many people talk about identity politics. I'm a this, I'm a that. I'm a trans, I'm a LGBTQ, I'm a, Latino, I'm a Mexican, I'm a American, I'm a good old boy, I don't know, all the I ams. But what you are is a soul-expressed being. That these things are aspects of you, parts of you. But when we get too caught in limiting identity, it cuts us off from source energies. It cuts us off from the original source, the I am that I am. There's an amazing mantra in Sanskrit called Soham Hum So. I love this mantra. I say it all the time. Soham Hum So. Soham Hum So. And it means I am that I am. I am that. I'm God. I'm the creator. I'm the universe. I am infinite consciousness. I am the unified field of consciousness. That I am. So it's that, the infinite and finite. The as above is so below. And this whole paradigm shift that we are a part of, that's happening to us, through us, as us, and that we are facilitating and opening up to, is busting myths. We won't have the hierarchical structures as embedded as we do now. You have to go through these outer authority figures. And so the more you focus on the separation, which is the over-identification of these outer perimeters, religion, race, color, creed, that was set there for a reason. It keeps people disempowered. It keeps us focused on the surface, not the totality, what we call the unchanging, right? The unchanging part of us, the spirit, soul. And what that means is that our essence doesn't change. We change, and spirit changes. Spirit takes many different shapes and forms, right? So once you get that, it's like, well, right now, or this lifetime, I'm expressing in this way. I have this certain color, or I like this certain kind of person. I have this kind of preference. Yeah, fine. That's great. That's what we're here to do, is we're here to revel in our senses, our preferences. That's what the soul is just a bunch of preferences, really, if you think about it. Encoded preferences that decode, and we get to live it out. But we have to go to the infinitesimal, the quantum. We have to go to the soul source. That's why I'm doing all these dimensional soul source healing workshops and sound recalibrations, transmissions. By the way, if you're interested in that, email me at info@soulplayground.life, or go to my website, sign up, or leave me your message in the comments on Instagram or my YouTube channel, which, by the way, we've been migrating to YouTube, and I don't know who this person is. I hope to connect with them. I hope to meet them. That just said, oh, thank you, Jacqueline. Thank you. Sound is good. Thank you. What a comment. This comment just touched my heart and said, yes. That's around here. I may not put, because it's about the guests that come on, but my topics, and maybe I'll start, I always keep saying I'll start doing that. It's just I have so much on my plate for me to go back in, and put the title. Because what I do is, some of you know I work with guides, the spiritual hierarchy, and the oversouls. And I'm a transmitter. I open up to the all that is, the universe, God, get messages. God messages, get directed. And it's some quite big, collective or world events I've predicted or helped people navigate through. as well as personal. Because a lot of stuff is in code. You know, it's going to happen. You know, I predicted 9/11. I predicted this pandemic, and what was going to happen. Fall of Berlin Wall, trading. Anyway, I could go on and on and on. But that means it's also deemed to be. That means these are destiny issues. So there are things that are turning points in our life here on Earth. And I tap into that, and the people that I'm working with that cross my path, they usually are tending to make big changes in their life, connect more to their soul, live more soul-fueled, you know, their passion from their soul and spirit-led. And usually they're going to be influential. Aren't we all? Everybody is. That's what we have to realize. We're influential in our life, and that's why just being ourselves and being more and more genuine and authentic, you know, just starting there to love ourselves more, we affect people. And if you have children, you're affecting not only that child, but generations from that child and what is around that child. So you guys get where I'm going with this? We have more clout, more power and empowerment than what we've been taught or led to believe. Because we're waiting for things out there, you know, or it's only when I get enough followers or subscribers or I get this level or I get do this class or this schooling or this degree or if I marry this way or live here, you know, it's always outside, you know, or it's the musicians or pop stars or, you know, podcast stars or social media influence. It's all these out there, right, that people are looking to or listening to. And a lot of times those people, because by the time they rise to that level, the information is a bit, it's history. It's waning to obsolete. So we really have to check in with ourselves and go, wow, what am I feeling? What's the pulse that I'm getting? Learn to read your own pulse. Where are you being directed? That's a big part of how the universe works. The God is, I am, through the universe. We say God or the universe, or universes, because there's more than one universe, honey. There's many, many worlds, many dimensions. So anyway, I digress. Let me read this to you, and it made my heart sing. Let's see. Enjoy the conversation. Here we go. Where is it? Now, where is it? Now, I don't see it on my phone. Oh, here it is. About the David Hawkins. Really brilliantly articulated content. This channel will be growing in subscribers. There are many beginning to seek this level of consciousness, moving into simplicity, beautifully put. We have been programmed life is difficult to achieve dreams. Yes, exactly, right? People have more difficulty flipping the internal switch of emotions to allow light within. Yes. So, not to toot my own horn, because in a way I feel like I've always been, you know, maybe it's me as a starseed. It's also the information that I've brought in. I've been speaking on this on the soul level and about the soul for 25 plus years, 30 years. So it's only now that people are receptive. And I share this with you because maybe you have a point of view that is a bit ahead of its time. Or you're looking around going, I'm seeing things differently. You know, I'm wanting to embrace more, and people around me are maybe not doing that or not comfortable with that or more closed. Or maybe you're the one in the family that's like this. So I look around and I go, yeah, there is a lot of information out there, but it's not really, as this person says, this level of conscience. It's not as advanced. And that's one of the reasons a lot of times things don't take off fast in the mainstream world if you're too ahead. Because mainstream consciousness reaches a certain medium range, and you can see this in everything. You can see this in advertising. You can see this in the educational system. You know, I was a teacher at one point, and I was told, because at one point I was a teacher in a private school, and there we had programs within the school structure, the educational system, and within the classroom for those that might be more remedial, you know, little just different. Let's say processing information differently. And there were programs to support and help and augment those students. But we didn't hold the rest of the class back. And then there were those, like the private school, I was teaching first grade, and I had kids that were in third, fourth, and fifth grade math or reading. Yeah, first graders. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep, indeedy. But we had courses, we had a program to address those children, and then some that were at that age, and then some a bit behind, or maybe just processed information differently. But then when I was in the regular school system for a very short period of time and tried to do a similar thing, I was told, no, you have to it's too difficult. So get that, guys. In regular school system, and that's in the regular mainstream part of life, everything is like, don't color outside the line. It really is, because it's difficult. It's extra work. It's extra attention. It's extra time. It's extra money. Whether that's in a corporate setting, you're told, don't do that. Don't come with that. You're just the man. You do this. This is your title. This is your role. So we're taught to kind of hone in or pull in. We're not even allowed to hone in, really, but to pull in our energies, our light. It's like the one that shines bright, you're asked to dim your light. So that's going to be changing, and we're just gearing up for it. We're going to see some of the bigger changes, 2025, 2026. That doesn't mean we're not going to have big changes now, but I mean changes that rock the mainstream, like, oh, whoa, this has changed. This is really happening. This whole process of Saturn in Pisces, if we're looking astrologically, and we're going to have Pluto in Aquarius from March to May, and then it retrogrades back into Capricorn, and then next year it will go for 20 years. It'll be in Aquarius. These are transpersonal planets. Oh, Saturn is still considered personal, but because it's still within the realm of Earth and time, the idea of time. But when you start getting into, Uranus, Pluto, Neptune, these are timing issues. These are transpersonal. This brings transcendence into our evolution, our personal and collective evolution. So it affects the individual. They're so powerful. I remember studying in the 90s astrology, and I would feel, as a psychic channel and a medium and, starseed, I would feel the effects of Uranus or Neptune. And it was always said there, don't worry, you don't really get those are the outer planets, the those don't really affect us. Those aren't the personal planets. The personal planets affect us more. But we've done such shifting over the years in that short period of time that even more mainstream, or not people that maybe aren't as sensitive or intuitive or empaths are affected, are feeling the individual impressions and transmutations and transformations from those planets. And now it's funny because some people said, oh no, people have never said. I said, no, you didn't study a long time ago back in the day. I mean, we're always learning. Astrologers always are learning. I'm always learning. We're always learning. I mean, there's astrology. You can read the chart so many different ways. You could have a chart, and if you lived to 150, you can still read it different ways and get different information out of it. Just depends on the angle, the level of expertise, the openness to let the chart, speak to you. By the way, yesterday I did a soul path astrology reading. Shout out, who you are, Alex. Oh, I had such a great way over. We went way over in this session, but time-wise, that it was all in great timing. But wow, the chart was just speaking to me. There were so many levels and angles coming through. And that's it. The chart can take this amazing 3D quality, 3D, 5D, like you could have a 2D print, right, or a flat surface of something and just see it as this paper or digitally as a graph on the computer screen. But then it starts moving. It starts speaking, and you get this depth, this awareness. This, how I'm talking, we're going to be playing in those realms, you guys, daily. That's that Saturn in Pisces. Yes, it can bring a lot of restriction. It can bring clamping down on people and certain groups, especially spiritual groups. And it also is going to bring an awareness that we have to connect into spirit, the power of prayer, meditation, subtle energy, connecting in through the resonant fields of consciousness, the energetic fields, not just the dense physical body, or what we say in metaphysics, the gross body, but tapping into the energy of the all that is through the etheric, the astral, the Akash, the spirit realm, being able to tap into the unseen, what is felt or what is intuited, living more and more from that. That's the only way we're going to be able to navigate through the upcoming times. And so you're going to see much more focus and emphasis on not just mindfulness. Mindfulness is great, but you still have the detached observer. It's a start, to be mindful. That's important. I think that's an important skill set, part of your skill set to have in on this earth plane. But getting in that meditative state, attuning, aligning, soul alignment, feeling your soul, aligning through the higher self, getting to the vibrational aspect of you. So the whole idea of vibrational frequency will be much, much, much more emphasized. Okay, so it's going to be all about the vibes, the intuiting, the tone, the frequency, the vibration of a person, a situation, a direction. Because vibes happen first, even before thought, and then before thought is feeling. So you'll be able to get things through sensing and feeling, and then change your thought from there, change your perceptions. Because when we change our perceptions, we change the way we live. We change our world. All right, so I'm really looking forward to this guest that's coming up later. Got a book out, Sojourner in Adequai. Yeah, so I hope we'll be doing a deep dive. I'm in that kind of mood. 347-539-5122 is the number on the keypad. 347-539-5122 on the keypad, and press 1. I keep seeing, I'm going to get to callers right now, but I keep seeing it's like a whole chunk of phone numbers on the chat appear and disappear. It's like 10 numbers, 5 to 10 numbers are there, and then they're gone. So I don't know what's going on. Hope it gets fixed. Hi, you're on air. Hello.
Hey there. Thanks for taking my call. Hello.
You're welcome.
Hello.
What's your first name?
My name is Jay. I'm calling from Canada, Michelle.
Oh, and what's the first name? James?
Jay.
Oh, Jay. Hi, Jay. Okay, in Canada. Very cool.
Very cool.
Alrighty.
Very cool.
Yeah. Love it. So.
Looking forward to this show. Both maybe a little small reading, and
good.
With Carrie Hart, too. I'm looking forward to us. Yeah.
Yeah, do you know, it sounds intriguing, right? Carrie Hart, I just got the info, and I was doing a, pre-show looking at the info I got, and she sounds, I know, I feel like we're going to be doing some deep divings.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, yeah, what did you want to share something? Or get a reading?
Oh, sorry. I was going to ask Carrie some questions maybe later on, but maybe just a quick reading, please.
Okay. With what do you want to focus on?
Sure. Job.
Look. Okay. Let's look. Okay, carry on. Well, I definitely see you going for something different, new. So if you have something now, I don't feel you're going to stay with it. I see a lot of, so kind of the proverbial resumes or something going out, and you wanting to.
Yep.
It has to do with restructuring how you live and what you're focused on. So I do feel there is definitely a job change, and then there's something, Jay, you're going to be doing on the side. There's something, I don't know if you write, That's interesting. Get something with photography around you also. So I don't know. There feels like there's something, or developing something. Developing, is it an app? I don't know. There's something on the side that's also kind of creative, but also kind of scientific as well, or could be something newsworthy or a lot of information that you're going to be delivering. So I feel like the next job gives you that opportunity to do this, that you'll either have the time. You're also going into an upswing of focusing also on finance and money coming in, possibly to use for this new, focus that you're going to have. So definitely there is a job change, no doubt about it. And I feel that it's transitional in a sense that it's setting you up for something else that you want to do. That makes sense?
Yes. I got let go from my job on February 24th. Didn't let me go, but they just decided to change over or shut down the section I was working in. So I'm just looking for a job right now in different aspects. So you're right about maybe a side hustle and different prospects of looking for another job. So is there any
definitely
timeline with this? Yeah.
I don't. Next few months, it's not a long time because I think you're going to take something because I can hear well, this will do. This is good. Could be working a lot with computers somehow, and then I feel like it's like you're just getting something. This is why this happened. The big why is so that you focus on the side hustle. You focus on branching out, and that's part of this new paradigm that we're all co-creating or is co-creating through us as us. Is I would say 3 to 5 sources of passion, purpose, and income, however you want to look at it. The soul is wanting to express more. So the whole idea of having one quote-unquote job, or position is no more. There's going to be multiple sources of income or seeing where your money is going and compounding it. So I feel this happened to you so that you do start looking at that side hustle. What is the other thing that I want to do? So I don't feel it's going to be a long time that you're, out of work per se, because I can see you putting stuff out and then late at night stuff coming back in. You're looking on the computer and I'm going to talk to this person. So I don't know if you're working with a recruiter or somebody, but I see a lot online.
Yes, you're correct. You're correct.
Is it okay? Kind of late at night, refrigerator open, and you're looking at well, let me check my email. Did it come in yet? Oh, there it is. Oh, well, maybe I'll contact him. Yeah. I can remote view, Jay. I can see you there. Coffee cup, drink, something in hand. There you are looking at, it's dark in the background, and you're looking at the computer. Oh, good, they got back to me. Okay, I'll get back to them. So, no, you'll nab something pretty quickly is what I'm getting.
Yeah, thank you. I'm grateful for the
keep us posted. Yeah. And good luck with everything. I think you're going to do something great. Actually.
Please keep me. Yeah, I'm grateful for the messages. Can you put me on hold for Carrie when she comes on later? Because I got to ask her some questions. Is that okay, too?
Yeah. Does she now? I never know if guests want it. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they. I'm going to put your number down. Sometimes I take it you know of her. Does she usually answer questions?
No, I don't know of her. I think the topic is really something I can ask questions about because it's just a very interesting topic, like I said, at this time period. Yeah.
Yeah, I want more. I'll ask her because sometimes, especially others, I've even done TV work where TV audience and I'm doing readings. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Some people do not. I've sometimes opened up to questions with the guest, and then I've got either a fancy way or a quick retort about, this is not the time or place, to ask questions and answer. Some of them don't like doing that, but I will put it to her and see if she's open to, or you can tell me and I can ask the question,
Well, I don't know what she's really talking about. But anyhow, thanks. Yeah, it'd be great. Yeah, if you could do that.
Yeah, I'll ask her.
I'll
ask her. Yeah, I'd like adding that in. I'd love that. I used to do panels on this podcast, and I just love it when people do kind of free flow. So we'll see. Maybe you're bringing that energy back. Okay, thanks for calling in, and I will keep you in the you'll be on the air, or not on air, but you'll be on hold. Okay, bye. Hi, you're on air. Hello. Whoops. Hi, you're on air. Hi.
Hi. Hello. I started to talk, and I was like, wait a minute, am I live?
I know. Listen,
something.
Okay, I got to share something because this happens, and this is why back in the day when we had, even with digital recordings, I had this happen. I had it happen when we had back in the day tapes.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, digital recordings.
I know tapes. Yes.
I know all my DJ friends at the time, everybody hated going digital. All of my musician friends and DJs were like, oh my God, they can't hear, no, there's not warmth, the digital's cold, you can't hear this note and that note. It didn't bother me. I was like, oh, well, it's easier, to have we went from CD and then MP3. But anyway, a lot of times what happens is, whether individually we're shifting, if person is shifting, and this would happen to me a lot, or we're going through quantum shifts like we are right now, energetic shifts that are very small. They're quantum, but they're very, intensely impacting. It affects our technology. So lights start going in and out, things record or don't record or stop, whether digital, it doesn't matter. And I got to tell you, so here I am looking at the screen, the back end of Blog Talk Radio and the chat. And first of all, the chat isn't working anymore. Since I've done my own shift and we've gone into this higher frequency energy, the chat's just going round and round. I'm sitting here looking at the switchboard, all these numbers, and the first ones that I can see stay on, and then it's been whole chunks of numbers have been flashing up and then disappearing, flashing up and disappearing. And I'm just watching this, and I'm going, what is going on here? What is happening?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's interesting.
That old TV show, do.
Yes, exactly. You have entered the Twilight Zone. Oh, my gosh. Oh. So, let's get your first name. I think I know who
this is. Jules.
Hi, Jules. Thought it was you.
Hello. Okay. And I do follow you on YouTube, so thank you for the content.
Oh, very
I appreciate that. I always look forward to when you post something, so I'm like, yes.
Oh, good. Yeah, so I think this month, around the 21st, because the aspects are showing that collectively and individually, we'll start doing, and maybe it'll only start monthly, but doing lives over there. And extending out to other platforms. Yeah, so we're going to do some video casts also, play around with that. I finally had the help. Jacqueline has been helping me so much, Jacqueline Hansel, who's also an editor. And I think the timing, a bunch of things that I wanted to get out, my ebook, doing this Indiegogo campaign, all these different things that I tried to get out last year around, I guess, September, October, when Mars was retrograde. I thought it would be fine because I'd started all this stuff earlier. I just got blocked left and right. Technology, everything. The ebook got messed up. I had to send it back to the person to reformat. It was just one thing after the other. So I let it all go and just said, okay, whatever. Okay, timing is off. But I'm definitely feeling the expansion mode right now. So I think we'll be doing, latest April, but probably mid to end of March. So I do appreciate you subscribing, to that. Right now we just have archives, some of the oldies, and then weekly, Jacqueline's been uploading the podcasts that we do here. And I just can't wait. I mean, just like Jay was saying that called in about asking questions, I really want to bring a lot of people together, different podcasters, listeners calling in, or coming on and creating these panels, because I think it's time really for this forward motion of us connecting and sharing our thoughts and our ideas and how people are managing this transition and where they need help and where they can lend help.
Yeah.
So, Jules,
I love that. Yes.
Thank you. Right? Yeah. So what are you doing? Are you going to visit in Florida?
No, I live here.
Oh, you're in Florida, but are you going to go visit your daughter wherever she is?
My daughter, yes, in Kansas.
I feel a
yes.
I feel a
visit. End of this month. Yes, it's the end of this month. So yeah. Excuse me. So there goes my voice. Actually,
I know,
what I was calling for today is
tell me.
It's a little out of the ordinary type of question, but so last year my investments took a significant hit, and so I need to make a excuse me for doing that in your ear. It's time to make an investment into my IRA, and there's a couple funds that I have in mind to contribute to. So I was going to see if you get a sense of which would be the best for as far as return on the investment. The first one is Janus Henderson, and there are two funds under that umbrella, and the second one is Vanguard. On the Janus one, the first prefix is 41, and the second prefix is 48, if that helps narrow it down, and the Vanguard doesn't have a prefix.
Okay. Yeah, I got to be honest. The whole idea with the IRA fund is not going to be great for the upcoming changes that we have. So I will see which one's going to be better.
Well, in 2022, the Janus Henderson is the one that had the greatest loss, and the Vanguard it did increase small amount.
Yeah. Well, that's probably going to be small amount.
More.
Well, and I was going to say probably the Vanguard, which I was thinking. Well, I've also heard of Vanguard, so I want to be fair. I haven't heard of the other. The 40. Definitely not the 41.
Oh, not the 41? Because that was the one I was kind of leaning towards. So not that one?
Oh.
Okay.
Well, that doesn't look... Let's see.
Well,
and I better do the disclaimer. This isn't medical advice, legal advice, financial advice, blah, 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 blah.
Right. Yeah. Well, I don't want my words to influence you either. I just,
Yeah.
Just kind of giving you the background. Kind of what's happened. So,
well, you're right though. The other one does have the growth and the slow growth, and probably investing overseas is what I'm getting with the last one, with the Vanguard. What about the 48? How are you leaning towards that?
Usually what I do is I divide the contribution in half, and I give half to each fund. So it's not as much going into both. But if I went with Vanguard, I would probably do the full amount.
The whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. You would go all on one side. I don't know. I'm not getting. I'm getting more leaning towards Vanguard, but that is slower growth, and it's something. It's either companies or something that you haven't invested in or done before. The other one overall will be good, but it's up and down. So one is slower, one's a little more up and down. So I don't know if you can do individual trades where it dips, you buy, I don't know. If you're just putting it in there and you don't want to think about it, maybe you see, I think you need to decide what kind of investing are you doing? What kind of trading? Are you trading off of this, or are you just plunking it somewhere and just, like a savings account?
I typically just kind of put it into the account, and I don't really, I'm not like an active trader or something. It's like my ex was the one who did all the investing stuff, and so I don't really know, what to do.
Yeah. Maybe you should outer wealth. I'm just looking at this. Get some more, because maybe there's other, like I know slow is like a CD or T-bill or something. Maybe there's other options if you want something that's more safe. Because I definitely feel that Janice one is up and down. And you just said it, you confirmed that the 41, is up and down. I'm hearing you want faster growth.
Well, I'm just hoping to kind of earn back some that, dropped out this last year. I'm just trying to, make up for the loss.
I don't see that. The things that I see, and I've been talking about this on Patreon, I'm probably going to do I will do, for Patreon only, I will do another overview like I did with my predictions of the pandemic and all that, everything that I talked about that ended up transpiring. And I'll put it to Patreon first, but then eventually I will move it to Rumble. I can't put this stuff on YouTube because I already got like a little warning that, my misinformation that ended up now paying. Yeah. But now regular media is talking about it, and I'm like, I already predicted that. I already saw that 5 years, but when I put it on 2 years ago, I got a warning that I'll get striked for the misinformation. Now that information that came through my channeling is proving to be true. They're talking about it more. So I'll probably put it on Patreon because so far I haven't been censored there. And then also on Rumble. I won't be able to put it on YouTube because they'll for sure, warn me, strike me, whatever. But yeah, I can't really say. There's so much fluidity right now with the stock market that I feel people have to either expect long-term slow growth or get in, get out if they know how to trade or someone's trading for them. And you may look at diversification, whether like gold, especially silver, it's not like 3 years ago or even 5 years ago, So that's what I could tell you, because psychically what I see, I just see a lot of up and down anyway. So I don't know if you're going to recoup, or you may recoup and then it's gone again. See, so it's not going to all be gone. I don't see it tanking. I don't see that. I think a lot of people are waiting, thinking like the big depression is going to happen. I don't see that, but I definitely see peaks and valleys. And part of that reason I don't see a complete tanking of everything is because we have different systems in place. This is a different time period, a different way of receiving, income or money, or there's a lot more moving parts than there were in the 30s. I assume I wasn't there. I was there one lifetime. I did have a lifetime there. Actually, I did have a lifetime. But yeah, so that's what I would tell you. So I hope I've given you kind of some insight that you can kind of piece some things together, research more for yourself, and then see what your gut knowing says. Because I just feel like if you're thinking which one is the one that I'm going to gain money, but I don't know. I'm not feeling that you will. Maybe with the Vanguard, but it is slower growth. It's almost like putting it in a savings account, I feel.
Okay.
Well,
right? I mean, it's like you said, everything has been so up and down. It's hard to know where. It's just I was trying to, trying to not hopefully lose much more.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think there's still, I think there's going to be more loss, more up and down. I do. Mm-hmm. I definitely do. So it depends. Now, with individual stocks, it's a little bit different, because you can manage that much more easily, pulling stuff out. But when you got these funds, it's a different thing. So maybe that's something to look at or find, get some information on.
Okay.
I feel like I can
Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Because I can't definitively say, because the energy that it shows in the astrology, and then also the energy pattern that I see as I'm tuning into your question. It doesn't show smooth, slow, if you get slow growth, then that means that fund has picked certain stocks that are just, not affected in the bulk of the marketplace, right? For whatever reason, or they're less, and then they just move up to kind of a median range slowly. So I guess what I'm getting, I just don't see like the recouping. It's going to be challenging in the stock market for sure, and especially I would say the next 5 to 6 years. It's just going to be a challenge to put something in, and then, especially with what I see, the big changes I see with companies, and of course those are the ones that are on the Dow or whatever stock market index is your big companies, and especially I see a lot of changes with tech companies. I see a lot of tech companies and social media companies, even though they have been buddies with the government. I feel them getting called in, trying to be broken up, looked at as monopolies. I feel new technology coming in, new startups. So that's going to change the scenery, of how we do things. So we have a lot of rumbling and scaling down and selling off of bigger companies. So anytime you have that, the stocks take a tank. So it's not going to be it's either going to be slow growth, that's kind of like a savings account, or if it's backed by the government, or you're going to have up and down and have some losses, have some gains, and then loss again. It is going to be up and down.
Well, I think
All
I'd
right,
rather
Jill.
have it a little bit slow growth than at least not lose.
Yeah. I'm going to get on. I used to do this inner and outer wealth because the person that helps me with my billing and stuff like that is also a stockbroker and a trader, and her husband helped start the Chicago Board of Trade, I guess. That she does a lot of inner work. She's gone through a lot, very wise. And anyway, I used to do these some channeling. I did a lot of channeling and psychic work for traders and stockbrokers and hedge fund and all those, whatever people are called, venture capitalists. I have some of those that are clients. But also did a lot of hypnotherapy with them, NLP, to help repattern if they took a big hit and this and that. But while I was doing all that, I did some work with them in this kind of retreat center they had for traders. And so we started doing this inner and outer wealth. And she brings a lot of insight into, because that's her training, that's her background. So maybe I'll do something on the new platform. We'll do something over there on YouTube. So I'm getting two messages. Jay is confirming, Jay that called in about having call in and, the guest answering. And now you about this inner and outer wealth. So Spirit is speaking through you guys, so thank you.
Aww,
anyway, keep us posted, Jules, okay? And I'll
all right, thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Big hug.
Bye-bye. Big hug.
Bye-bye. Hi, you're on air.
Hey, Michelle, it's Sunray. I just can't get enough.
Hey, Sunray. How are ya? I'm on fire. Saturn, it could be health issues or diet, nutrition, but it's in my 6th house, transiting. But I finally have more focus to get things done. Because I've been in this Neptunian, because my channeling and just how I live, my Mars is in the 12th house of Pisces. I have Scorpio in the 1st house, and then Pluto conjunct my Sun. So I'm always in this trance kind of formative world, and then every now and then when Saturn hits in the right way, it's like, structure. I can get some stuff done now. I am so excited for that.
I am too. I'm excited for the new shifts and gearing up for that, and it's awesome that you even mentioned start throwing out planets.
About what?
My question for you, just kind of going back to your show, we were talking about Pluto moving into Aquarius until May, then retrogrades back into Capricorn until 2024.
Right.
and I didn't know if you want to elaborate on this, collectively, or, but I personally would like to know how it would affect myself. But of course, if maybe expanding more on that, because you have some.
On which part? Which part? Expand on.
Pluto moving into Aquarius. I didn't know that it was going to retrograde in May back into Capricorn, and then moves back into Aquarius in next year. So it sounds like some major steps forward, but then the summer kind of brings us a step back for a bit through fall and the beginning of winter, and then propelling back into it next year. So I was just wondering if you had any more insight on this collectively. Of course, I would like to know personally.
Yeah. So here's the deal: anytime we have 29 degrees, which is called critical degrees.
The world axis.
Well, no. Of any sign, when you have 29 degrees of a sign transiting a planet, it's critical. Mm-hmm. It's called the anaretic degree. And so that means there's usually a lot of change that happens. It's both a consolidation and a springboard into whatever new transit or energetic cycle is beginning in the 0 degree of the next planet, the 1 degree. It goes 0 to 1 degree of the next planet. If it's going in a new planet. So the Pluto in Aquarius, and I've said this, I don't know, since 2011, the big changes are going to be when Pluto will be in Aquarius for 20 years, when Pluto's in Aquarius and Saturn in Aries. Right now we have Saturn in Pisces. I think Saturn in Pisces is going to be all about, it's going to be a lot of things, but let's just boil it down to a lot with the spiritual realm, God, the I am that I am, higher self, how do we cope beyond the ego level, beyond conditioned response patterns, and looking to outer authorities? Now, that's not to say we can't get helped by people, or people can guide us, or books, or whatever, but it's really about attuning our own navigational system and learning from each other, and also speaking up, like calling in, like you're calling in, people are calling in. It's like we have to participate. This is no longer like just give it to me, let me receive. There's accountability, and because we are these co-creators, but we also have been co-creating or creating through a fuzz of an old, like a filtering from beginning of time on this planet, written history with these different conditioned response patterns.
It's time to create a new foundation, especially for our future.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. We are upgrading, what do you want to call it, soul beings. The whole idea of ego, and again, I always say as a therapist, I love the ego. It's, a healthy ego. We do the work that I do, we do healthy ego boosting and, confident at that. But the constructed social ego that disown parts of us and that's constructed to work here is being dismantled, so that we connect in as these, really soul beings, very telepathic, very sensory. So Pluto in Aquarius, because Aquarius also has to do with the individual, but also the group or the collective at the same time. So it's about the group, but at the higher vibration, not at the expense of the individual. The lower harmonic of Aquarius, has to do with separation, detachment without bonding, and cults. So both Pisces is victim martyr on the low level, martyrdom, self-sacrifice, and also like everything outside you, the icon, the glamour realm, one follower, I'm going to be saved. So that's why we see that even in politically. And I got news. Doesn't matter what if people vote red or blue, they're all the same. There's the same group, the steering committee steering all of them. So we're going to have some big slaps in the face.
Yeah.
After the we're already seeing it, like in Canada. You're seeing it with Canada, with Trudeau, and what happened with the truckers.
This all kind of reminds me of This all kind of reminds me of like Star Wars or like Hunger Games, like what they show in media, where there's a kind of like that separation or like that.
Yes.
That structure.
But see, people don't, and this is the deal, which I love. Either a lot of people in the mainstream world, or they're too young to remember. They're like, Democrats are bad, the leftists and the woke people. But I remember in the 90s when the Republicans, and of course wasn't around in the 30s, but they had McCarthyism, and he was, I believe, a Republican who was like calling people in Hollywood communists and banning them from working. And then we had in the 90s, I remember, because I like all kinds of music, and I also did like at the time Black Sabbath, Ozzy Osbourne.
Mm-hmm.
Do-do-do-do-do. I am Iron Man. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. So anyway, and I don't know the other hair bands, I can't think. But anyway, they got called in. The big Republican Anita Bryant was against gay people, came into the, she was the orange juice commercial lady, and she came into the government. She was a Republican, and then the Republicans were trying to shut down the rock and roll, hard, heavy metal, and hip-hop. So I'm like, gang, this is why there has to be the big cosmic slap, is because it has nothing to do with red or blue or certain race or certain, Labor Party, progressive. It's what's behind that.
Belief.
And people, yes, it's the steering committee cabal, whatever you want to call it. There's a lot of terms for it. It's trilateralists. It's the technocrats. They're red, blue. They're whatever. So people right now are still like, oh, it's got to be Biden or it's got to be, Democrat. Oh, Trump is the only savior. And I got news. When push comes to shove, they all have to do the same agenda, even though they make little changes here and there. So, so we're getting set up, and that's why you have to have your places that you can go to feel safe, secure, not echo chambers, people that will disagree, but what people are going to see with this Pluto and Aquarius is that we have, quote-unquote, strange bedfellows. We're going to have, I always say this, I give this example, like for me, and people can see that, I'm Latina, I'm shades of brown. I always joke and say, I am going to be sitting next to probably like a racist bigot, biker that's also a ballerina, eats meat, and I'm a psychic medium of color, and we're going to get along. We're going to see eye to eye. So because we have to look at vibration. What's the overall connection in the highest truth? Not what somebody looks like or identifies as. We're going to be with people that have different opinions, and probably strong different opinions. Like, somebody that's for termination or pro-choice, and somebody that's for never have, a termination or abortion. And they're going to have to work together side by side. So we have to let go of these ego constraints. And that's Saturn when it gets in Aries in 2026, and the Pluto in Aquarius, and there's other configurations as well, but those are two simple ones to look at. We're going to have to look at, it's okay to have differences. I mean, we don't even allow differences in personal relationships or family relationships. It's like everyone has to be homogenized. Everyone has to think the same. Everyone has to do the same. And in family dynamics or group dynamics, system dynamics, that's low functioning or dysfunctional. But that's been the basis. That's been the basis of our society. So everything that's happening is to get that perception, get those beliefs, get those rules and laws of society, those norms up and out to really see them, and then unfortunately to have some negative consequences of those to get people to redirect their energy and their thought process, that someone doesn't have to be like me or look like me or think everything like me to still be relevant.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like it's catapulting us into a galactic Citizenship.
Yes. Ooh, I like that, Sunray. Galactic citizenship. That is what it is. Absolutely.
A part of that. I mean, it sounds like when you're saying like you're going to be sitting next to someone who's completely different from you, it kind of sounds like, well, they may be from a whole different system out there.
Yes.
And you just have to kind of
And I've had that
them.
happen. I even had that in high school. I mean, I had such a wide range of friends. You know, whether it was like the sororities wanted me, I hung out with them a little bit, and then they're like, oh, well, you can't hang out with your surfer friends or your, you know, Latino friend, you know, and I was like, what? Oh, you have to eat lunch with us every day. I'm like, what? No, thank you. I can't do that. You know, so this idea that we can fit in and blend in with many people and that the world is our home, the universe is our home, that, you know, it's going to be this blending of boundaries. But there is going to be the lower harmonic playing out where the boundaries get stricter and people get more separate. But those that are hearing the higher call are going to see and live beyond that. So, yeah. So that's part of the, and if you think about Pluto, people just, if you look up Pluto and you get to know about Pluto, read up on that, and then Aquarius, what that means, lower, mid, and higher harmonic, you know, the healthier version, the more life-affirming or enhancing version, and the lower level, you can see where we're at and where we're going.
Do you recommend any resources for this? Do you recommend any resources or a place where we can start?
Googling or online. But even if you want to know about the signs, there's a great book called Chart Interpretation by Stephen Arroyo, Arroyo. Essentials for Understanding the Birth Chart. But even, you know, online, you can just get an overview of what's going on. People are talking about this, talking about that, and just see, you know, just on a very basic, simplistic way, what does this mean for me individually, and what does it mean collectively? It's just another lens, a way of looking at the changes. It's just a perception. It's just another way to navigate through the changes, but it does give a little bit of tangibility to what is happening on the energetic level. Sunray, I see our guest on. Our guests I can see. What, are they there? I hope that's their number. Wait a minute. Okay, I hope this is them because it's a different number than what I got, but...
Okay, as always, lovely connecting with you.
Thank you for calling in. I always love hearing from you. All right. And we're going to see if our guests will take calls, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Jay had asked if they should take calls, so we'll see.
All
right, Sunday. Talk to you later.
Blessings.
Bye.
Big hug.
Blessings.
Bye.
Big hug. Bye. Hi, you're on air.
Hello. Hi, this is Carrie Hart.
Is this Carrie? Perfect.
It
I had a different phone number. Okay, I had a different number for you, so I was just guessing.
Was a good guess.
Yes. Okay, gang. So this is Carrie Hart, and her book is Sojourner and Adequate.
Yes.
Yes, and if you want to check her out, carriehart.com, CarrieHart.com while we're talking. Also, we had somebody that may want to ask you a question. Are you open to listeners asking questions?
Certainly.
Okay, very cool. All right, so let's dive in. Well, we've been doing a deep dive, Carrie, so kind of all over the place. I love your book. A lot of people were intrigued by what we sent out in the Instagram stories about what you were writing about, mind-expanding ideas and practical tools for the open-minded seeker of a meaningful life. I think a lot of people are right in that space right now and saying it's exploding. And I think, you know, what I see as a trance channel and astrology and whatever, it shows that more and more and more. So I always say a lot of these new books coming out are really a gift because people are asking these questions and wanting the guidance, the tools. So if you can kind of open it up, if you want to share a little bit about yourself, that's fine too. And then I really want to jump in about your book, this, you know, the mind expanding ideas. I love that because I think that's where we're at right now.
Well, yes, and that part I was thinking about, like, who am I writing this for? I thought, oh yeah, open-minded seeker of a meaningful life, because that I'll tell you, that's completely what I am, and it sounds like that's what you are too, and your listeners, right? We're seeking that. We have to have an open mind because, there's just, as you were just saying, there's so much going on. And all we do by closing our mind and going deeply into our opinion is just close out all the wonderful things that might be coming our way. So, and that seeking for meaning, there are those of us, that's what our life is about, right? Is just seeking something meaningful that leads us into a beautiful life. And I always think in terms of, as far as seeking goes, I know a lot of people talk about wanting to know their purpose, and I always feel that at a certain level we all have the same purpose, which is to bring out who we are deep inside, our talents, our truth, our wonder, and share it with the world. And just shine out with who you are as an individual.
I so agree with you. I always say our soul's purpose is not what we do, it's how we do it, just by being ourselves. And Carrie, I think that, and if that I think if that message is in the book, because I think I even talked about this at the beginning of the podcast, if you keep asking, who am I, that's like a rabbit hole, because who we are changes over time on this earth plane. I'm a mother, I'm a CEO, I'm a this, I'm a fireman, I'm a But where and how, just being yourself. And maybe that's the big question, or the big answer really, is that simplifying, that distilling.
I think
it's just how you are. Right?
Yes. Who am I is a good question, but not who am I in this world, but who am I deep inside? What's this essential essence that I am, right? And what did I bring with me, though, into this life? What are these talents that I have that if I would just have the courage to commit to my own truth and to delve deeply into who I am and bring forth all these wonderful gifts that I have. Our society doesn't make that easy. Of course, our society does not reward the creative parts of us, right? The original parts of us. It wants to train us to follow the script that we were given.
Yes. Very
that make
true.
us good little soldiers in our society, right? And so in order to recognize yourself as a unique individual with a light that's shining brightly and in its own way takes courage. It takes courage to go against maybe what someone else told you should be and what our society tells you should be. And and instead shine out with your own truth and your own point of view and your own beauty and wonder and all the exciting things that are about you when you allow yourself to be yourself, right? I always thought one of the really interesting things about that, though, too, is that it's a message that I had some time ago when I was channeling the entity Quado, which is one of the things I talk about in the book. That was that's how I began my spiritual journey. Was I started getting messages from Quado, and one of those messages, though, was saying, how can you expect to find the people that will love you for exactly who you are if you aren't being who you are? If you're not presenting your true self out into the world, how will people recognize you who are seeking someone just like you? And I thought that was a very interesting question.
Yes, and something I think that it's really good to ask ourselves every now and then, especially if we look around and see, I'm not getting what I quote unquote want, or
right.
this isn't
and what
working,
am I? What energy am I? what energy am I sending out into the world, right? Because
Yeah.
that was one of the things that I talked about in my book is what I called the web of the universe, is that I believe everything counts. If you think about the universe as just this interconnected web, you might think of it as a picture. You've seen pictures of brain synapses connecting. If you think of it that way, all these connections, it's just this great web of connections. And every thought I have, every word I speak, and every action I take, these are all forms of energy that go shooting out into the universe. And the universe loves to connect things. So if I have a thought, let's say I've fallen into some thought patterns like, relationships don't work out for me, and I keep sending that out, and then I keep bringing, and I keep connecting to people where that makes sense, versus sending out that I am full of love and joy and happiness, and then things connect to me that make sense. So I have, but even my thoughts, everything about me is just going out there and connecting and pulling, and the universe wants to give me back what I'm sending out.
Yeah, I love what you're saying, because we are dots and connectors of dots. Dots begin to connect. And there is this binding, which we could also call love, this binding force within the universe that wants to bring things together, people and things together.
Right.
And it does so by vibration. Give us some insight into how you do it. What could people start looking at? Because a lot of people, in fact, I just got on TikTok, somebody on one of my videos said, or one of my TikToks said, I'm beginning to think it's a scam. I'm not getting what I want, for 29 years. Now, mind you, when I don't get what I want for a few years, I look at myself and I go, okay, Michele, what's going on? Is this just a patch, or what are you doing? What are you doing here, right?
I think there are a couple of ways to look at it. One is, before I do go into a meditative place in which, in a meditative space is your opportunity to be consciously transmitting to the universe, this is who I am, this is my path, this is what I want. Mm-hmm. And I often ask myself and tell the universe that I want to have my desires be congruent with the path I'm here to walk. So in other words, if I find that I'm not getting what I want, it could either be because I'm not really transmitting that. I'm not transmitting that energy in how I think. If I'm thinking a lot of negative thoughts about myself, of course, I'm not sending out into the world that I want things that feed me. And it can be that what I want is just right there on my path, and I need to just clean up my thinking and my words and my actions. But it could also be that I am focusing on wanting something that is just a pure ego desire that doesn't really have anything to do with the true path I'm here to walk.
Right.
So I would ask that question
biggie.
first.
Yes, that's a biggie. And as we get more conscious, it's less from the lower level desire, ego desire. It's more from the soul.
Yeah.
So that's a biggie that you're saying. We have to check in and say which part of me or who really wants this. Is it the real who I am?
That's right. Because there are certainly points in our lives where we focus on, and when you can see it in retrospect, when you look back on your life, you can see periods where you were focused on something that really was not the best possible path for you, but you really thought you needed that, you really wanted it. And often what you're doing is you're reflecting things that you pick up in the society. You're reflecting things that other people told you should want. And we certainly do that in response to all of the advertisements and commercials that are poured our way all the time. Why do I want that? Why do I want to watch television and really, really want this thing that people want to sell me? So if that's what you're trying to get, I would ask, are you sure? Are you sure that's really where you want to put your energy? And see,
Love
instead
that.
turn inside and turn to your center and say, what is this? What are some of those things, those urges that I have had that I really wanted to pursue a certain path, and then I turned away from it, either because of circumstance or I just didn't have maybe I didn't have the courage to walk it alone. That can certainly happen too. And just make sure that what you want makes sense for the higher self that you're striving to be.
And what way, you talk about meditation, what way is a good way for people to tap into that or recognize? I guess it goes back to that pause they have to kind of contemplate, I suppose.
Yeah, well, I think there are a lot of forms of meditation, and the main thing is to remember that what you're trying to do when you meditate is you're trying to train yourself to be able to calm down your thinking. What we don't want to do is be victims of our own mind. People have this, your mind simply does not always tell you the truth. And you know that because sometimes you'll be obsessing about something, worrying about something, and then it doesn't come true, right? You're just worrying. Mm-hmm. And what that is that's the voice of fear, right? And so often our minds are focused on fear, and fear can be really loud, really loud. And what you want to try to do is calm your mind down and see if you can find some space. Deepak Chopra always calls it the gap between thoughts. That's your goal. Yeah. Your goal is to see if you can reach into the gap between the thoughts where there's a little tiny bit of silence. And as you meditate, to allow yourself to go into silence as much as you can and calm your mind down so that you have enough space to be to breathe, for heaven's sake, right? To just breathe and be and come into the present moment. Because it's in the present moment that all the good things happen. It's in the present moment that I can actually step out and claim my right to joy and happiness is in the present. Because when in our minds, all that chatter in our minds is all about the past, regrets and blame, and the future fears and worries, right? That's what our brains do. It's just, so what the training is to come into the present moment as much as possible. So a really good way to do this, especially if you're new to a meditative practice, is, and this was Thich Nhat Hanh, as a Zen master, who's written his wonderful books. Now, he suggested that one really good way to meditate is walking meditation. And so the idea is you're going on a walk by yourself so you can be nice and clear and you're not spending the time chatting with someone. And you walk rhythmically, but you walk outside because nature really knows how to pull you into the present moment. So you walk outside, you walk in a rhythmic pattern, you let your breathing and your footfalls be rhythmic, and you allow yourself to look at the sky, to look at the clouds, to connect to the trees, to listen to the birds, to be deeply aware in the present moment. And that is a beautiful meditative thing to do that anyone can do. Anyone can do. And also, if you find time, if you find that it's hard for you to get away from, to find peace and quiet in whatever your circumstances are, that doing that, going out for a walk by yourself, but consciously consciously quieting the mind and going into the present moment. Because in the present moment is always peace. There's always peace in the present moment. It's in your mental, your mind space where there's no peace, right? But in your heart and in your center and in your breathing, there's always peace. There's always peace that you can reach. And, so I think that's a beautiful, beautiful way to begin. And if you are comfortable just sitting and bringing yourself into a quiet space, that's fine. But if that's hard for you, then go out and walk.
I love walking, meditate. Sometimes when I've been going through stuff, I will walk 3 times in the morning, and then, boy, something's coming. Go out, just go out, walk, and just look, walk, chat. Okay, I think we did have a question. Let's see if Jay is still on. I think he is. Is he still here? Let's see if he has a question. Hi, Jay, you're on air with Carrie Hart.
Yes. Hey, thanks for taking my call, Carrie.
Hi, Jay.
Hey there. I've got a question regarding having a meaningful life. Does it change as you get older, as in terms of like maybe your kids have grown up, or you got things going on where basically it's you only have a certain amount of years to do things, but does it change?
Well, I think that it's a posture of seeking meaning, and the seeking of the meaning is something that's never completed, right? So if you're a real seeker, you'll be looking all the time, and yes, it keeps changing and evolving and expanding. And what you think, the meaning that you find at one period in your life, yes, I agree with you. It absolutely, you move into another period of your life which has another meaning to it, and it's a process of evolution. That's what I believe. That living is this beautiful, opening, evolving, expanding process which as I say, the seeking never ends, because there's no end to the questions or the answers, but what you are beginning to seek gets broader and broader. And I think there are times in our lives where we're so consumed with busyness that it's kind of easier as you get a little older and the children are gone or the job's done or whatever, and you have a little bit more peaceful time. But at any phase, I think we can seek and find what is it that the life is bringing me right now, and then in the next phase, what wondrous thing am I being exposed to right now, and then just keep saying yes. Keep saying yes to things that come to you and expanding and evolving. What do you think, Jay?
Well, I feel right. Go ahead.
No, you go.
Well, I feel right now that the space that I'm in right now, in some sort of way, for the last 3 years, because of the health crisis or health thing that's going on, is that we've been put into a traumatic state. And, I had some trauma that I woke up again. I was woke up before. I woke up again to really evaluate, what's really meaningful in my life now versus for just like carrying on the status quo of things going to be okay, and I'm immortal as a person. So my goals have changed in a way, and I'm just feeling more gratitude for things, because I never know what's going to go on in the world that may cause issues or things, geopolitical situations.
Yeah, we don't know what's going to go on out in the world. But the one thing we know is that when we learn to go deep into our own self and get really, really comfortable with how it feels to be me, so that I know when I'm centered in myself, then that's the place that I can always go. And it's funny, because the what is the meaning when I'm there? The meaning is I am. And I am this that I was before I came into this life on earth. I am this that I will be after this short adventure on earth is over, I am this. And from this core that I am, I can shine out with who I am, and I can be better and greater and more expansive expressions of who I am in this world. And that may or may not change what I see on the outside, but over time it will change what is coming toward him on the outside, because I'm sending out the energy of who I am. But regardless of what's going on outside, this is the place where I can find peace. I can't find peace outside. I can find peace, though, in my heart. In my heart and in my center, no matter what, I can come here. And if I go in deep enough and deep into my heart and into my center, I can feel this little well of joy that's in there bubbling up, that's simply the joy of being alive, having this adventure. It is an adventure, Jay. We have to say that.
It is definitely an adventure.
And there's it is, but there's something deep inside that says, yeah, it is an adventure, and this is what I signed up for. Let's go, let's do it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I find right now, too, is that I think a lot of people are waking up to see what's going on, and they're really questioning a lot of things right now. And, and trying to find a way to know what what's really meaningful in my life now, considering what's going on in our surrounds, or our macro world, not our, and also our micro world too, our inner selves.
And I think the only way you can, that the only really strong thing to hold on to is you in your center and who you are. And then the more you do that, the more that flows out into the world, and your life becomes more manageable, because it becomes a stronger expression of your true inner self. Or that's what I believe, Jay.
That is beautiful. Thank you. Jay, thanks for hanging out and staying on the line and calling in. That was a beautiful question, and I think very
You're welcome,
poignant
Carrie.
and important
Michelle.
at this time. Yeah, thank you, Jay.
Yep. Welcome.
Take care.
Mm-hmm.
Take care.
Wow, important question.
Mm-hmm.
A lot more people are asking that question, and it only comes from within.
I think that we have to. That's the only place that we can turn to when the rest of the world seems to be going crazy. Is you can always come to that place inside, and that's the only place that you're absolutely sure can make sense when you're in the present moment and in your own core and in your own center.
Yeah. And it's interesting, in that place we know what to do or not do, is action, inaction, or what to think. There really is a lot of information in that moment, in that space, right, within the whole body mind.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's where all the guidance is, right, is within that silence, within that space between the thoughts, as we said, the just to dip in there, and then there is both love and guidance. Love and guidance. We're surrounded by love and guidance when we allow ourselves to step into the present moment and be present with ourselves in the silence.
Wow. Your book is definitely coming out at, such an appropriate time with what's going on, because I feel like, just again, I say as a channel, but also the astrology just shows so many more, not necessarily just as a pastime or trend, but are really to navigate where we're at now and what's coming up, asking this very question that you're bringing up. What is meaning and purpose? And I think when so much is, quote unquote, failing, or I would say falling away to be put back together in a better way, when it's the very outer structures of our society, you really don't have any choice to go within.
No,
you
really have to go
going
inside.
Yeah.
If you don't go inside, you're like a sea, like a ship tossed at sea. You have to go. You have to go inside in order to Or if I followed through with that metaphor of being tossed at sea, you want to go down, down deep where the waves don't reach you, where it's quiet and where you're peaceful. But being up in the waves and wind and storm, no, it's pretty hard to find your way up there. Much better come in when you can come down here and be in the peace. Then we can find a way.
Yes. It's like sitting by the fire in the storm, the snowstorm. It's like the storm will stop, and then I'll come out and get my, I've got my wood and I've got my food, I've got stuff here, and I think people are really going to start looking at that. But again, we all need the insight and inspiration, and then also the how to or how I did it, or these are some suggestions. Through various forms of, media, and especially I feel, books of all kinds really, really help people.
What I did with my book was I put together these are the very best things I learned over my 25-year spiritual journey. And this is what helped me get through my storm, which was the death of my husband that I'd been married to for 46 years. And in that process, I just revisited the tools, the things that had helped me, and said, okay, well, I'm going to write a book about this. We both pulled together. These are all the things I learned that were really, really deep and helpful in getting me through a storm, right?
And in essence, because I was going to say, a lot of times people that have gone through trauma have had to go through this, or great loss. And if they've done it, in a life-enhancing way, they've learned to navigate, and they've learned to come up with deeper meaning and understanding. So that you went through that and now are able to put that in a book, because that is what we are going through. I mean, this is a loss process. This is grief. This is shock. This is, a trauma. Yes. And for those that don't actually have the individual personal loss, you can look at it as that it doesn't have to impinge as deeply if you have the tools, the navigational tools. But I think people that have actually gone through something very traumatic or tragic or just deep loss and grief, and that have really mastered it as the way that you can, the way out is the way through, have a lot to give us, have a lot to share with us, because it is it's what we're going through collectively. So that even adds more depth, Carrie. So I'm sorry you went through that you kind of came out the other side and gifted us with this, book is something that we're lucky to have, because you went through it and came out the other side, so to speak.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. So let's see. Well, I guess we're winding out. Love to have you back again. I love your energy, and I love what you're sharing, and just the presence that you're emitting and sharing in the world through what you're doing. And it's just
thank you, Michele. It's a real pleasure being here with you and having your audience engagement, and that everyone out there is we're all trying to find our way, right?
Yes,
all
we
trying
are.
to
we all
create the best life that we can, and it's a good thing we have each other.
Yes, exactly. I look forward to my Wednesdays. Let us know, because the best way to reach you, carriehart.com, and then Sojourner and Adequate, that's
right. So if you come to my website, carriehart.com, you'll see that there is on the home page there, you can click on the book. There's a cover of the book, a little blurb, and that'll take you directly to Amazon where you can buy it.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Yes. All right. Thank you for spending this time with us, this treasured time.
Thank you, Michele.
Carrie. Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
Take good care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Okay. Thank you, everyone that called in. And, Jay, thanks for your question. Also, those of you that had questions or comments or had wanted a reading and I wasn't able to get to you because I do see you in the queue, I will be here next Wednesday. If you're new to the podcast, we're here every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Pacific time. You can listen by phone or internet. The chat is just wonky, not working. So I've emailed them a couple times about it, and I'm not sure what is going on. But anyway, you can always call in or I guess listen via computer, but the chat is not working. And if you have any guest suggestions, topic suggestions, you can email me at awakeningspodcast@gmail.com. Also connect with me, Soul Insights and Tarot on YouTube, Instagram. Love to have you connect there. And then also the Awakenings with Michele Meiche podcast is also on YouTube, and you can subscribe there and connect. I usually see comments when people comment or whatever on YouTube or Instagram. I'm better at connecting that way than direct messages because I get so many messages and emails with other projects and things that I'm doing, but I'm fierce about comments. I love comments on YouTube and Instagram. I love connecting with people and seeing what, and then I start getting to know your name, your face, where you're from, you know what I mean? So that's probably the best way to reach me, or the awakeningspodcast@gmail.com or info@soulplayground.com. I think there are links in the description box and how to connect to Patreon if you want to do a deeper dive into metaphysics, spiritualism, and spirituality. So want to give a shout-out again to our guest, Carrie Hart, the book Sojourner in Adequate, carriehart.com. There's info about her in the description box. And I appreciate all of you that called in and shared and just all of your connections and co-creating this amazing way of us connecting and sharing. I do appreciate what you're doing in your own personal life and also for this Soul Path community. And always, as I always say, continue to shine your light, share your insights, and, of course, keep awake. Till next time, lots of love and light.
Awakenings broadcast every Wednesday, 12 p.m. Pacific Time. Archive shows available on iTunes. For continued awakened conversations and insights, join the Awakenings group on Facebook. And check out Michele's blog at soulplayground.com. And keep awake.